Namaste. Welcome to you all for this Common Yoga Protocol introductory program. We shall start this session with a prayer. Please sit in a comfortable posture, any meditative posture, Sukhasana, Padmasana, Vajrasana. Those who cannot sit on the ground, they can sit on the chair. Close your eyes, relax your whole body, take a deep breath and exhale. Fold your hands for Namaskara Mudra, 3 times Omkar followed by a prayer. Sangachadvam samvadadvam samvo manamsi janatam deva bhagam yatha purve sannyanana upasate sannyanana upasate. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti. Open your eyes. Please sit comfortable. As you all know, in the last 4 days of appreciation yoga program, we have practiced some loosening practices called yogic Sukshma. Then we did some standing postures like Tadasana, Ardha Chakrasana. Then in the sitting we did Ardha Ustrasana, Shashakasana, and in the prone posture we did Makarasana, Sarada Bhujangasana, and in the supine position we performed Pavana Muktasana and Shavasana. Then in the pranayama, we did yogic deep breathing and also Anulom Vilom pranayama. And in the last day, we also practice dhyana, the meditation. The first, we will repeat all these postures very systematically. Then we will also go to learn some more postures of the Common Yoga Protocol. Let us begin today's practical session with a standing postures. Please stand up, feet apart, hands besides the body, relax the whole body. Awareness of the body is more important. We start with some neck exercises. Please keep your both the palms on the hips. Then slowly inhale, exhale, bend your head forward, let the chin touch the chest, inhale, head up, exhale, bend your head back, stretch your throat, inhale, come up, exhale, slowly bend forward, relax, inhale up, exhale, bend your head backward, slowly come up with inhalation, relax, feel the impact of forward and backward neck movements. Now we go for lateral bending, slowly inhale, exhale, bend towards the right side, stretch, stretch, inhale up, exhale, bend toward left side, inhale up, exhale, bend towards the right side again, stretch your left portion of the neck, inhale up, again exhale and bend towards the left side. Fantastic. Please come up with inhalation, close your eyes and relax. Now we go for neck twisting. Slowly inhale, exhale, turn your head towards the right side, turn it, twist it, twist it, twist it. Slowly inhale and come back. Exhale, bend toward the left side, twist, let your chin come on your shoulder. Slowly come back with inhalation. Again exhale, twist your neck, turn your head towards the right side. Inhale, come back. Again turn your head towards the left side with exhalation. Coordination of the breathing is important. Inhale up, relax now, close your eyes. Now we go for neck rotation, first 2 times clockwise, then 2 times anti-clockwise. Inhale, exhale, bend your head forward, then slowly inhale, rotate your neck in clockwise direction. Inhale, exhale back, inhale, come up, exhale down, inhale up, exhale back, inhale down, exhale down, relax. Now anti-clockwise, inhale, turn towards the left side, exhale, again inhale and exhale, come back. One more time, inhale, exhale, inhale, exhale. Now slowly inhale and keep your head straight, hands down, close your eyes, see the impact of neck exercises. You can feel the freedom, lightness in the neck region. Now we go for shoulder stretch and shoulder rotation. Then slowly inhale, raise your arms from the sidewise, stretch them up, make them parallel, stretch your whole body. Exhale, hands down. Very good. Again inhale, raise your arms up, stretch up, stretch up. Very good, excellent. Now again exhale, come back, hands down, close your eyes, relax. Now we go for shoulder rotation. Raise your both arms with inhalation up to the shoulder level, bend your elbows, keep your palms on the shoulder, bring your elbows as close as possible. Then slowly rotate clockwise, inhale the elbows up, exhale down, again rotate, inhale up, exhale down. Very good. Now another anti-clockwise, exhale down, inhale up, exhale down, inhale up. Very good. Now slowly stretch your arms again, pull them out, exhale, arms down, relax the whole body. Close your eyes, feel the impact. Now we go for spinal stretch. We have added, which is not in our common yoga protocol, but it is very useful for the trunk movement. Now keep both the feet apart, at least 1.5 feet. Then slowly raise your arms from the front side, rise up, stretch the whole body. Then slowly exhale, bend backward as much as possible without closing your eyes. stretch the body, then slowly inhale, come up, exhale, bend forward, bend at trunk side, if possible touch the ground, if possible place your palms between the feet, head down, very good, very good. Now slowly inhale, raise your arms up, body up, stretch up, exhale, go back, go back without bending your knees. Then slowly inhale up, exhale, bend forward, bend at tongue side, place your palms between the feet, stretch your spine, relax. Those who are having lower backache, don't do this posture. Then slowly inhale up, raise your head up. Okay. Exhale, hands down from the sidewise. Relax. Keep your both the legs close as possible in the sthiti or the initial position. Now we go for trunk twisting. Keep feet apart, 1.5 feet or a feet. Slowly inhale and raise your arms up to the shoulder level. Exhale, twist your body, turn to your right side, twist it, turn your head also, twist your body, twist it, very good. Don't bend your knees. Slowly come back with inhalation, very good. Now exhale, turn towards the left side, twist it, turn towards the left side, twist it, very good. Slowly inhale and come back. Again turn to your right side with exhalation. Take maximum twist as much as possible. Don't bend your knees. Only the trunk should be twisted. Do it slowly according to your capacity. Don't force the body. Please come back with inhalation. Stretch your arms. Again turn to your left side. Exhale. Coordinate your breathing with the moments. Exhale completely. Again come back with inhalation. Okay. Hands down. Close your eyes. Relax. See the impact in the trunk region. Now we go for knee movements. Slowly inhale and raise your arms up to the shoulder level. Then slowly exhale and bend your knees. Come to the squatting position. Thighs parallel to the ground. Maintain. Inhale up. Make your knees straight. Exhale down. Make your thighs perpendicular. Be there. Inhale up. Exhale, hands down, close your eyes, relax the body. Come to the initial position by joining your legs, maintain the posture. So, kindly see the impact of loosening practices or Sadhilajja. So, your neck muscles are relaxed, shoulder muscles are relaxed, back muscles are stretched and relaxed, knee joints are relaxed. Now we go for some standing postures. So let us start with a Tadasana. Turn to your right side or in a comfortable posture. Keep your legs apart a little bit. Then slowly lock your fingers, raise your arms. Open your palms outside. Yes, stretch them. Then slowly inhale, raise your arms up. First stretch your body, relax your neck muscles, don't rush, stretch up, fantastic. Now slowly inhale and raise your heels up. If possible, try to stand on your toes. You can see the stretching of the whole body is in a straight line, the excellent stretching posture. Slowly exhale and keeps your heels on the ground. Be there. And slowly bend your arms and keep your palms on the head. Relax your shoulders, relax your shoulders, relax your shoulders. One caution, those who are having giddiness or something hypertension, they should not raise their heels up. Just stretch your arms, align your body, take a deep breath and exhale, relax the body and do it. Now again inhale and raise your arms up, stretch them, Tadasana. Those who cannot, they can continue with the same posture. Those who can, slowly inhale and raise your heels up, stand on your toes, make it straight, a wonderful balancing posture which helps to keep the spine supple and it elevates many types of stress because of long sittings and working on standing for longer duration. Exhale, heels down, open your palms up, inhale, stretch your body, exhale, hands down, relax, close your eyes. We have completed Tadasana. Tada means it's a mountain like this. That's a palm tree. So your body becomes very, very flexible and it becomes stable. And I prefer to do it this Tadasana without raising my heels at least 3-4 times in a day for a minute or two. That will help me to relax my whole body after long sitting of 2 hours or continuous 2 hours or 3 hours sitting. Simple Tadasana is very, very useful for the working group of people. Now let us go for the Ardha Chakrasana, the second standing posture. Then slowly raise your arms up and keep them on the hip joints. So take your elbows as close as possible. Then slowly inhale, expand the chest, exhale and bend backward. First the head, then the chest, backward, bend back. See the stretching in the throat, complete stretching, expansion of the chest and also your abdominal muscles are stretched up. You can see the pressure on the lower spine, lumbosacral spine. Elbows are parallel. Then slowly inhale, up, head up, exhale, hands down. Relax the whole body. Ardha Chakrasana. We will do it again, Ardha Chakrasana. See the impact. Those who are having hypertension, please don't bend too much and don't close your eyes. Those who are having severe lumbar spondylosis or cervical spondylosis, please consult the yoga therapist before you adopt it. Otherwise, it's a very good practice. Anybody can do, unless you have a very chronic disorders, please consult the yoga experts for that. Now we go for the second round of Ardha Chakrasana. Slowly keep your palms on the hips, elbows as close as possible. Slowly inhale, expand the chest, then exhale and bend backward, keeping your legs straight, bend at hip joints, bend as much as possible without any discomfort, keeping the legs straight, don't bend your knees. Okay. Now feel the expansion of the chest and abdominal muscles are stretched and kindly see the lumbosacral region of your spine, lower spine has been pressed up. Then your cervical portion of the back has been squeezed. Relax the muscles there at the neck region. Then slowly inhale and come up, make your head straight, exhale, hands down, close your eyes and relax. Wonderful. So Ardha Chakrasana is being followed by a complementary posture called Pada Hastasana. Please turn this side. First observe. We will demonstrate the Pada Hastasana. So we can modify it accordingly. First we will demonstrate Sarala Pada Hastasana. Slowly raise your arms up. Very good. Slowly bend forward with exhalation. Just as much as possible. There is no need to stretch too much. Just hands down. Be there. Head down. Head down. Head down. Head down. Yes, that's all. Sarala Pada Hastasana. Some people can reach the ground. Some people may not. Some people only up to the knee length. Be there. Just bending forward at the trunk part. Okay. Then slowly stretch your arms up. Inhale. Kindly see the procedure. Then slowly rise your body up. Stretch your arms. Then exhale, hands down. Simple. Always bring the arms sidewise. You can have the shoulder exercises also. Excellent. Now we do the repetition of Sarala Pada Hastasana. Small precaution, those who are having lumbar spondylitis or lower backache, kindly do with care. Where those who are having chronic backache, don't try this posture. Okay. Now Sarala Pada Hastasana. Pada means the feet, Hasta means the palms. So we are keeping the palms besides the feet. Therefore, it is Pada Hasta. Okay. Now rise your arms up, slowly stretch up the whole body, slowly bend forward, stretch your body as much, then hands down. Don't try too much, head down. Yes, you have stretched it properly, but you are not forcing. That is Sarala Pada. Sometime you may not able to touch the ground, or just you may stretch your body up to the knee length. Slowly inhale and come up, rise your arms up, stretch the whole body again. Exhale, hands down, relax the body. Pada Hastasana, we will do the Sampurna Asana. Now, kindly see the first. Inhale, rise your arms up, stretch the whole body in a straight line. Exhale, bend forward, stretching your spine, bending a trunk part, and please bring your palms beside the feet. Keep them beside the feet. And your abdomen will come as close as possible to your thighs. Bend your head down and head goes below the knee, and try to touch your forehead to the legs. You can see Pada Hasta. Both palms are resting beside the feet, 2 feet. Excellent. Kindly see the stretching in the lower spine. This is the perfect posture. Those who cannot perform fully, they can do according to their capacity. Don't force your spine. Don't give the jerks. Okay. Slowly inhale and rise your arms up. Stretch your whole body. Stretch your whole body. Exhale and arms down. Now we can watch it sidewise and also perform along with us. Yes. Inhale, rise your arms up. Stretch. Exhale, bend forward in one go. Kindly see where she is bending. Excellent. Excellent. Place your palms beside the feet, head down. Your body is touching the thighs, abdomen and chest is touching, and your chin goes between the legs. Excellent stretching. Pada Hastasana. Keep your knees straight. Pull them up. Fantastic. Inhale, rise your arms up. Stretch your body up. Exhale, hands down. Close your eyes. Yes. Some people cannot do both. We will give it to some Prasarita Padastasana. Please turn this side. So, let us have at least 2 or 2.5 feet distance between the feet. Yes. Rise your arms up, then slowly bend forward and try to keep your palms between the legs besides the feet. Head down, legs apart a little bit. so that you can have Prasarita Pada Hastasana. Excellent. Slowly come back. Inhale and rise your head up. Stretch your arms up. Exhale, hands down, and come to the initial position. Relax the whole body. Close your eyes. Watch your body. We did in standing Tadasana, Ardha Chakrasana, Sarala Padahastasana, Padahastasana in total, then Sarita Padahastasana. Relax now. Let us sit down, come to the sitting posture, turn to your light, come to the Vajrasana position. Sit on your knees and feet outward, relax there. Close your eyes. This is called Vajrasana. You can feel the relaxation in the knees now. Okay? Now please stand up on the knees. Keep your palms on the hip joints. Elbows as close as possible. We are going to perform Ardha Ustrasana, the backward bending in the sitting. Then slowly take your head back. Stretch up, then slowly exhale, bend backward. Exhale and bend backward. Relax now. See the difference between the Ardha Chakrasana and Ardha Ustrasana. You are having the support of your knees. Thighs are perpendicular and you can do much better. Ardha Ustrasana, strengthen your back muscles and improve the lungs capacity. Very useful for the respiration. Then slowly inhale and come back. Exhale, hands down. Relax and please sit down on your feet between the heels. Close your eyes, see the impact. Ardha Ustrasana. We will do after some days Purna Ustrasana, but see the impact of Ardha Ustrasana. It is very useful in the many of the cardiac problems and breathing problems, but most importantly, it keeps our spine healthy by regular practice of Ardha Ustrasana. We can prevent any neck pain or cervical pains or lower backache pains by performing Ardha Ustrasana or Ustrasana. Let us go for the complementary posture, Shashakasana. Now just keep your knees apart as much as possible and slowly place your palms between the legs. Okay, inhale. Exhale and slowly stretch your palms forward, stretch up, first chest, then the chin, then the forehead. The whole back has been stretched up, arms are stretched up. You are feeling completely relaxed. Shashakasana is a very, very simple but very useful practice to overcome the anxiety, stress, and many of the back problems can be managed by regular practice of Shashakasana. Inhale and come back. Yes. Join your knees, exhale, relax and sit. We will perform Shashakasana once again. Those who are suffering from anxiety, depression, always perform Ardha Ustrasana and Shashakasana together because they complement each other. First do Ardha Ustrasana, then again do Shashakasana. Now we will start with Ardha Ustrasana, then we will go for the Shashakasana. Stand on your knees, keep your palms on the hip joints. Very good. Slowly inhale, exhale, bend back. Stretch back as much as possible. Excellent. Maintain the posture with normal inhalation and exhalation. Don't force. You can breathe more, but don't force the breathing. Try to relax the muscles of the body as much as possible, and you can watch the thoughts. What type of thoughts are coming? What is the emotion? Yes, slowly come back with inhalation. Exhale, hands down and please sit down on your legs. I will go for Shashakasana. Inhale, slowly widen your legs, keep your hands between the thighs. Then slowly exhale, bend forward, stretch your arms, put your chest on the ground, chin on the ground first, then slowly forehead on the ground. Experience the complete stretching. Excellent. Beautiful. Slowly inhale, come up, raise your arms up. Exhale, join your knees, place your palms on the respective knees, close your eyes. Now we go for Makarasana. Simply lie down flat in the same position, stretch your legs back, put your tummy on the ground, just rest in Makarasana. Rest in Makarasana. Stretch your arms up. Yes, rest in Makarasana. Relax, relax, relax. Feet apart, resting the head on both the palms. Kindly watch. Rest well. You can see the relaxation in the knees, calf muscles, feeling comfort. Makarasana is very, very important posture for cardiac patients. Those who are having any hypertension or cardiac related disorders, they can just practice Makarasana very systematically, relaxing the body, regulating the breathing. You will get wonderful results. Now we go for Sarala Bhujangasana. Join your legs, toes together, heels together, knees together. Stretch your arms first, make your body straight, chin on the ground. Wonderful. Then slowly bend your elbows, keep your elbows besides the body, elbows on the ground, chin on the ground. Kindly watch properly. Now inhale and raise your head up, chest up as much as possible without lifting your elbows. Excellent. Very good. You can see, but your heels are together, knees are together, you are bending back but not feeling the pain in any part of the body. Just bend back with a little effort. Then slowly exhale, bend forward, abdomen, chest, chin and forehead, and legs apart, rest in Makarasana. Relax, Sarala Bhujangasana. Bhujangasana always, as I mentioned earlier, it's a very simple posture but very, very effective in the management of working stress. So after prolonged working of 6 hours of 8 hours, just lie down, do this Bhujangasana, Sarala Bhujangasana once or twice. It will help to reduce the entire stress because of long working hours. Now let us repeat Bhujangasana once again. Join your legs, heels together, toes together, stretch your arms up, stretch the whole body, chin on the ground, bend your elbows, keep your arms besides the body. Then slowly inhale, raise your chin up, head up, chest up, elbows on the ground, adjust the body, align the body, maintain the Sarala Bhujangasana posture. Excellent. Then slowly exhale, exhale, abdomen, chest on the ground, shoulders on the ground, chin on the ground, forehead on the ground, legs apart. Inhale, rest your head on the respective hands, relax well. Makarasana. The beautiful combination of Makarasana and Bhujangasana gives you a lot of relief from the working stress. Especially it is very, very useful for the women, those who are standing in the kitchen for a long time. They can do Ardha Ustrasana, Shashakasana, Bhujangasana, very simple postures without any side effects. So let us go for some supine postures. We go for supine postures. turn to your left or right, lie down flat on your back. Legs apart, hands apart, palms facing towards the sky, rest well in Shavasana. Relax the whole body for a minute. You can watch small changes. As we lie down on your back, you can feel the relaxation in the abdominal muscles, chest muscles. Now we go for Pavana Muktasana. Join your legs, raise your arms up above the head, stretch the whole body. This is very important. These are all called pre-practices before we do it. Stretch it. Then slowly bring back your arms down with exhalation. Then slowly inhale, raise your legs up. Make them perpendicular or 90-degree. Relax your feet. Then exhale, bend your knees. Then inhale, raise your arms up, lock your fingers. Exhale, press your knees toward the chest and slowly lift your head up. Bring your head towards the knees in one go, pressing and lifting the head up. Exhalation with a normal breathing. Please stand. Stay there for some time or as long as you feel comfortable. There is no force, there is no binding. We have to do it for 10 seconds, 20 seconds. Kindly listen to your body. You can perform as your body permits. With a prolonged regular practice, there will be improvement. Don't force it in the beginning itself, please. Now slowly exhale, inhale, head down, then exhale, slowly keep your hands in the ground. Inhale, raise your legs up, make them straight. Exhale, legs down in one go. Yes, hands apart, legs apart, relax in the Shavasana. Pavana Muktasana is very important for the intestinal health. So we have abdominal or pelvic floor muscles, so are very important. So many time with anxiety, stress and working pattern and food habits, we got indigestion, constipation or many of the digestive disorders. Pavana Muktasana and its variations are very useful in elevating many of the abdominal disorders. So now let us move on to do it Pavana Muktasana once again. Join your legs. Yes. Inhale, raise your arms up, stretch the whole body, make it straight. Exhale, arms down, keep them besides the body. Now palms firmly on the ground. Inhale, raise your legs up, stretch your legs, make the body 90-degree. Then exhale, bend your knees. Inhale, raise your arms up and lock your fingers. Exhale, press your knees towards the chest and lift your head up. Relax your toes, ankle joints, arms and fingers. Maintain the posture with normal inhalation and exhalation. Breathing is not so easy because you are pressing your lower abdomen, diaphragm pulled up, breathing becomes uneasy, but it is manageable. It is very important. Then slowly inhale, take out your head, rest your head on the ground. Exhale and take out your hands, place them on the ground. Inhale, raise your legs up. Exhale, bring back your legs down, keep them on the ground, legs apart, hands apart, palms facing toward the sky. Relax the whole body. Let us do 2 to 3 minutes Shavasana. Lie down flat now as you are seeing. Legs apart at least 1.5 feet or 2 feet. Hands apart, little bit away from the body. Palms facing toward the sky. Rest well. Now follow me in 3 important easy steps. First step, watch the whole body from toes to head according to the practice. You can see the ankle joints. You are sitting in Vajrasana, they have been moved. Kindly see the relief in the ankle joints. You can see the knee joints because you did Vajrasana, Padahastasana, many things. Relax your knees and thighs. Relax your buttocks and pelvic part, lower abdomen. Relax your abdomen. Relax your chest muscles. In Ustrasana, Ardha Ustrasana, they have been stretched up. Relax your shoulders, arms, palms. Relax your lower back. Relax your upper back. Relax your neck, throat, all facial muscles, tip of the tongue and root of the tongue. Relax your mouth. Keep your teeth relaxed. Then slowly relax your eyes, forehead, top of the head. Feel the contact of the whole body with the ground. Experiencing the relaxation. It's a watching the whole body. Whenever I said certain parts of the body, you can feel the impact of some of the postures we perform today. But you are also aware what they were 45 minutes before, now what I am feeling. Then slowly watch your breathing. It has become slow and steady. Slowly your abdomen bulks up and sinks down. Just observe the slowness of the breathing, but it is very rhythmic. Then just in the third stage, watch your abdomen, coordinate movements of your abdomen with the breathing. It bulks up with inhalation and it sinks down with exhalation. Excellent relaxation. You can see the relief of tension, stress. You can watch your thoughts. A sigh of relief. Shavasana, though it looks simple, but it is very attentive practice. You have to master it by regular practice of Shavasana. It needs some proper orientation to practice Shavasana properly. Now slowly move your fingers and toes. Join your legs. Okay. Then stretch your right arm up above the head and turn to your right side, bending your left leg. Be there in that position for few seconds. Then slowly wake up and sit down in any comfortable posture for pranayama and dhyana. Excellent. Yes. Now we go for yogic deep breathing. So what we have to do whenever we sit, first of all, samam kaya shirogriva. For any pranayama and meditation, you have to sit comfortably on the ground in a sukhasana, ardha padmasana, padmasana, vajrasana. The broader base, more stability. So if you are not able to sit on the ground, you can sit on the chair, but don't compromise on the health of the spine. Don't bend forward, don't loosen your body. So keeping the spine straight but relaxed is very, very important while doing pranayama and meditation. Now slowly relax the whole body. Inhale, slowly bulge your abdomen a little bit. Expand the chest and raise your shoulders up. Inhale completely. Exhale, shoulder down. Contract the chest muscles. Take your abdomen inside a little bit so that exhalation completes. Again, inhale, up, rise, expand, lift. Exhale, shoulder down, contract the chest muscles, suck your abdomen inside so that exhalation completes. Third time, inhalation, inhale completely, very good. Exhale slowly, inhale 4 times. Exhale, feel the relaxation. Last time, inhale up, expand the chest fully, up, you can feel the air up to the top of the head, only it is feeling. Exhale, relax. Deep breathing will help you to perform Anulom Vilom or Nadi Shodhana very effectively. Now, as we taught, let us begin Nadi Shodhana Pranayam. So, just make your Nasikagra Mudra or Pranayama Mudra with your right hand. Kindly watch properly. Excellent. Now, just close your both the nostrils with your right hand. The thumb closes your right nostril and small finger and index finger closes your left nostril. Okay. Now, slowly open your left nostril and exhale. Inhale through the left nostril slowly as we did it in a deep breathing. Complete inhalation. Close the left nostril, open the right nostril and exhale slowly. Very good. Again, inhale through the right itself, fully, up, close the right nostril, open the left and exhale through the left nostril. This is one round of Anulom Vilom. We will repeat another 4 rounds. Inhale through the left nostril, fully, exhale through the right nostril. Again, inhale through the right nostril, exhale through the left nostril. Third round, inhale through the left nostril, slowly, deep inhalation. Exhale through the right, completely. Inhale through the right nostril itself, exhale through the left nostril. Relax the whole body. Now, 4th round, inhale through the left, deep inhalation, close, exhale through the right. It is called Rechaka. Again, inhale through the right itself, called it is Puraka. Change the nostril, exhale through the left. See the impact. Then slowly we are going to the last and final round of Anulom Vilom. Inhale through the left nostril, slowly but take it complete inhalation. Exhale through the right nostril. Exhale it completely, your abdomen goes inside. Then slowly again inhale through the right, expand the chest, see the pressure up to the top of the head. Then close your right nostril, open the left, exhale through the left nostril. Relax the whole body and hand down, Keep it in Jnana Mudra or any comfortable posture. Close your eyes. Watch the change in the nostril dominance. Watch the change in the nostril dominance. A wonderful change. The breath becomes very, very soothing. But you can see the vibrant feeling. Nadi Shodhana cleanses our nadis or subtle channels by alternative breathing. It's going up and down in a very, very simple rhythmic manner. Now, let us do some dhyana. In dhyana, you can sit in Jnana Mudra or you can adopt, place your one palm on the another. Place your left palm on the right. Relax or right palm up, anything according to your comfort. Shoulder down, keep your spine straight. Again, I advise 3 steps or stages to enter into the state of dhyana. First of all, it is always body awareness. See your position, knees are relaxed or not, ankle joints, hip joints. Adjust your body, relax them totally. Lower abdomen muscles, chest muscles. Keep your spine straight but relaxed. Arms are opened up, shoulder down, the neck, head. The whole body is totally relaxed. So, frequent awareness of the body brings the coordination between the mind and body coordination. We are not at all watching the body, we are not listening to the needs of the body. So, once you start watching, in the prolonged time it develops the mind body coordination, what we call it as a mind body medicine. Then watch your breathing, it is very shallow and only you can feel the breathing on your lower abdomen. Slowly it bulks up and sinks down. Shallow breathing is the indication of reduced thoughts. Then kindly see the small short breathing that brings the third one. The thoughts have been reduced. Number of thoughts have been reduced. Just watch. It is not meditation, it is the process of meditation, dhyana. So, you can see the feelings, feeling of happiness, feeling of relaxation, feeling of reducing or reduced burden, a total relief from the pain. Something inner things emerge. That is the beginning of dhyana. Be there for a minute and that silent feeling of total relaxation and compassion, karuna. Dhyana is very, very simple, but it is to be learned. Every yoga practice are very simple, but it should be practiced systematically. That is why in the beginning Patanjali says yoga anushasana. It is anushasana. It is a systematic practice and study which leads to mind body coordination and ultimately leads to self realization. Dhyana is reducing all types of stress and its consequences. It enhances the mind power, mental power, helps us to balance our emotions, develop the positive emotions. Fantastic. With these happiness, make a sankalpa. I will practice it today evening also. Make a sankalpa, I will adopt yoga in my life by giving at least 45 minutes of my precious time every day. preferably in the morning. Fantastic. Join your hands for the Namaskara Mudra. Excellent. Close your eyes. Then slowly chant Om once and Shanti Pata. Breathe in. सर्वे भवन्तु सुखिनः सर्वे सन्तु निरामया सर्वे भद्राणि पश्यन्तु मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत् मा कश्चित् दुःखभाग् भवेत्। ॐ शान्तिः शान्तिः शान्तिः। Slowly please keep your palms on the respective eyelids. Press them. Take a deep breath and exhale. Then slowly slide your palms down and keep them on your respective knees. Open your eyes. Have a wonderful praying. So today is the first day of our yoga introductory program for CYP. Kindly practice it in the evening if possible, and in the beginning doing repetition one more time definitely makes you perfect in a very short duration. Thank you. Dhanyavad. Om Shanta Shanta Shantihi. Namaste. Hearty welcome to you for this Common Yoga Protocol introduction program. As you are aware, during the last 4 days, we have Yoga Appreciation Program, in which we performed yoga practices half an hour, very useful practices. Then very relevant theory which is very essential to practice yoga regularly with larger benefits. Today we are going to have a theoretical session on fundamentals of yoga. So where we discuss many fundamental concepts and practices. How this Common Yoga Protocol is based on the very fundamental concepts and principles of yoga. So for this we have designed a 12 days program, and in this 12 days there is a 60 minutes or 1 hour practical session every day to begin with, and there will be some 30 minutes lecture session, where we are going to discuss each and every yoga practice like yogic sukshmayam, asana, pranayama, dhyana, yogic diet, and all these mechanism of breathing and etc. we are going to discuss in detail. So therefore, in this CYP introduction program, this is of 12 days and 1 hour practical and half an hour lectures. So total number of hours is 18 hours. Now let us come to the fundamentals. So you know that what are the silent features of yoga. So first of all, what is the essence of man or human being? Spirit is the essence. Spirit is the essence of a human being or a man. Likewise, spirituality is the essence of yoga. So, when you talk about spirit and spirituality, it is spirituality is to search the very nature of self, what is my true nature. The journey which is going to understand myself, so that is really a spiritual journey. Yoga is and we say is to understand what is my true nature and establish in the true nature. Tadadrashtuhu swarupeva sthanam. So, for that what we needed? We needed then the mind, what we think, then what we speak, then what we act. That is called a Trikarna Shuddhi. So, what we think, that we speak and that we act. That is Kaya, Vacha, Manasa. This is Trikarna. So, then there is no reality, there is no duality. So, there is no duality and slowly we are searching for the unity, union, which leads to understand what I am, what is my relationship with the nature. This is in a nutshell I am giving you the spirituality meaning. The second one is yoga is a philosophy. It is one of the Astika darshanas of 6 darshana, Shad darshana, Nyaya, Vaiseshika, Sankhya, Yoga, Mimamsa and Vedanta. Yoga and Sankhya, Sankhya and Yoga are the 2 darshanas which gives us the entire nature of this universe. Sankhya gives the philosophy and Yoga gives the practices ultimately to take us to Kaivalya or what is my true nature. Then many people say in science always we do experiments and in different places. So, it is desirable to get the same results in different conditions. Here also yoga is also science, we do experiment, but it is subtle science where we go about our empirical knowledge. Therefore, yoga is a suprasensory and supra-intellectual. It goes beyond the empirical world. That is why I put yoga is a subtle science. Then how we can reach this spiritual well-being or intellectual pursuit or the science? These are the 3 dimensions. One is empirical, another is a rational, third one is a beyond empirical and rational. What is the means? Mind is the means. Therefore, understanding the very nature of the mind, human mind, and developing the practices to conquer the mind, calm down the mind, orient the mind. All yoga practices are developed and derived to orient our mind. So, with this one there is an art, it is an art of understanding my mind, accordingly perform the different yogic practices. For what? I have to live healthy, I have to live well, I have to live well, eat well and sleep well, act well. So, that is why yoga is an art of health and well-being. So, once you achieve that, it brings harmony in all walks of life. So, it is at my own personality, it is an harmony, and it is a harmony in the family, in the workplace, in the society, in the nation. Ultimately, it leads to peace. Therefore, in our IDY emblem, Dheya Vakya, so I put the tagline as harmony and peace are the 2 words, and therefore, harmony and peace are the precious treasures of the entire mankind. So, the spiritual well-being, the darshana as a philosophical pursuit and a subtle science, practices are mind scientific. By practicing yoga, we can live healthy and well, and it brings harmony and leads to world peace. These are all the silent points where we develop this common yoga protocol. Therefore, I am elaborating on this. Let us come to the very purpose of yoga. So, when you talk about what is the purpose of life, the purpose of life is I want to live happy always, I want to enjoy this life, but always the sorrow or a pain follows like a shadow in every walks of life. No individuals 100% keep happy throughout his lifespan. There are the moments of pleasure and there are moments of sorrow or unhappiness. So why? Once Purusha come in contact with Prakriti and Prakriti evolves from Satta to Rajo, Rajo to Tamo. And once we go to the Tamo nature, and definitely it leads to the always tamas, the pain or sorrow. So therefore, so it is how we can overcome. Tapatraya comes when we join with Prakriti and Purusha. What are those? Adi Daivika, Adi Bhautika, Adhyatmika Tapa. All these kinds of tapas. This may be some physical tapa. Like this, I am suffering from some diabetes or some cardiac problem, some knee, back pain, knee pain, or I am not able to sleep. These are all physiological, physical problems. And there are certain other problems which caused by the mother nature. And there are very subtle points which is about our mind and intelligence. Therefore, Adi Daivika, Adi Bhautika and Adhyatmika Tapa are the three tapas categorically. So we have to overcome this to understand what is my true nature. Once we establish in our true nature, that leads to Ananda, Tada Drashtuhu Swarupe Avasthanam. That leads to Satchit Ananda Swarupa. I am the blissful personality. Therefore, yoga is for that, to overcome suffering antyatika permanently and establish ourselves in the state of bliss. That is the purpose of yoga. Then as you know, what is yoga? The very word yoga has been derived from the Sanskrit root yuj. Yuj means to join or to unite or to connect or to go together. So therefore, once you that, what is that? Union starts, that is between the cell organism, microcosm, then the cells and tissues, tissues and organs, organs and systems, between the systems. This is the union, understanding. Then it's a body, body and mind, mind and intelligence. Then understanding the whole individual consciousness, then understanding the relationship between individual consciousness and universal consciousness. Then there is a synergy, union. So when you talk about universal consciousness or consciousness, it is infinite, ananta. Where is the cell? Cell is a very micro, which is also not able to experience by ordinary people. Therefore, both micro and macro, ananta, so the journey between the micro and the macro. So that leads to the unison of the man and nature, body and mind to begin with, but ultimately it leads to the union of Jivatman with that Paramatman, individual consciousness with that universal consciousness. That is the very purpose of yoga according to Advaita Vedanta. So there are hundreds of definitions. There are some definitions or the meanings of yoga given in the traditional yoga text like Yoga Sutra, Patanjali, Bhagavad Gita, which is also one of the most important yoga texts. Then several Upanishads. But from the ancient time till today, many yogis have written and understood yoga according to their practice. They also given the meaning and definitions of yoga. But here I would like to mention two important definitions. One is from Gita, Siddhya Siddhyo Samadbhutva Samatvam Yoga Uchyate. Yoga is samatva, it is bringing harmony, as I discussed. In all walks of life, there is an harmony, there is a synergy. That is the most important objectives of yoga. That's why Siddhya Siddhyo Samadbhutva. So there are ups and downs, pleasure and unhappy moments, always there. So a man should be always samatva, equanimity in both pleasure and pain. So once you maintain this equanimity of mind, that ultimately lead to understanding the inner core of silence, and that is Atman. But for this what we need? Yoga Chitta Vritti Nirodha. Yoga is the cessation of mental modification. Chitta is not mind, Chitta is a mind stuff, where Mano Buddhi Ahankara Chitta. So that is called mind. This is about thinking and emotions. Ahankara identifies, then Buddhi discriminate, and all these things will store in the mind field called chitta. So, therefore, chitta vritti nirodha in the mind stuff. So, we have to remove all the stuff in the mind field. So, once you remove that, chitta field becomes very, very clear. Therefore, I can visualize the drishta, the purusha. Therefore, yoga is the cessation of mental modification. So, mind stuff. These are the two important definitions. So, we have to understand before we proceed to yoga. So, now let us come to the traditions of yoga. So, there are different traditions from the ancient time. In Vedas, there are 4 Vedas. So, then all these 4 Vedas, they have mentioned about some yoga practices, yogic practices. So, most importantly, there are 2 components, major diversion. One is the karma kanda and the jnana kanda. In the karma kanda, we mentioned about the rituals, some pranayama, some meditation, some practices. So, the unison between the man and nature, there are so much ritual practices. And in jnana, it is only about the intelligence, how we can understand the nature, all these things will go on. Therefore, in Vedanta tradition, it is called prasthanatrayi. Prasthanatrayi. So, therefore, prasthanatrayi, that is first of all it is called the Dashopanishads and Shvetashvarata Upanishad. The principles or objectives mentioned in the Dashopanishads. So, then it is called in the Brahma Sutra of Badarayana. So, it is a sutra, the logical format. Then it comes to the Sadhana Pada, that is in the Bhagavad Gita. Therefore, in Bhagavad Gita, the Vedanta tradition in Prasthanatrayi, I use the word Vedanta. So, there are 3 important texts which form this one. What are the fundamentals of yoga? One is we come out with Jnana Yoga. So, where we have the discrimination between Nitya Anitya Vastu Viveka. This is the first and foremost, that is why it begins with Sankhya Yoga in Gita. And Yoga Patanjali follows Sankhya, that gives you the discrimination power, and Nitya Anitya Vastu Viveka. For that, we have to do 3 types of sadhana. Jnana Yoga, what is that? Shravana. So, we have to listen to the fundamentals of yoga, about the Siddhanta, we have to listen. Then Manana, we have to meditate, and Nididhyasana, establish in that. Shravana, Manana, Nididhyasana are the practical path of Jnana Yoga. So, for that what we need the devotion, unconditional love to the nature, unconditional love towards the human being, unconditional love towards the God. Then it is called Bhakti. Narada Sutra, he has mentioned unconditional love towards the God is called the devotion or Bhakti. So, once I develop that devotion, unconditional love, without expecting anything, so I can do much better the karma. So, what is in Karma Yoga? So, Karma Yoga, it is envisaged in Gita, very beautiful in different chapters. What is that? Karmanye vadikarasya ma phaleshu. I have to do my karma very intelligently, diligently, but not bothered about the fruits of the karma. According to my nature, according to my intention, I get the results. But do not think about the results, but think about the karma, what you can do it, according to your complete capacity, devotion. That is why Karma Yoga, Bhakti Yoga, Jnana Yoga is combined. But for that what we need? We need the calm and quiet mind, oriented mind, and very, very stable mind, that will be achieved by the practice of dhyana. Therefore, dhyana, karma, bhakti and jnana are the 4 fundamental yogas which are a practical schools from the Prasthanatrayi, Vedanta, Dashopanishads or principal Upanishads, and Brahma Sutra of Badarayana or Vedanta Sutra we call, then Gita, Bhagavad Gita. So, there 4 yogas, Jnana, Bhakti, Karma and Dhyana Yoga we have mentioned about it. Next we go to the Sankhya Yoga tradition. It is called Patanjala Yoga. Sometime only one part of Patanjali Yoga, Ashtanga Yoga we are mentioning about. What is there in the Sankhya Yoga tradition? Let us see in the Sankhya. In the Sankhya, we are going for the Purusha and Prakriti. There is a unison of Purusha is the Chaitanya, Prakriti is a Jada or the matter. When Purusha come in contact with Prakriti, Prakriti has three gunas, Sattva, Rajo and Tamo guna. Then it starts evolve. So first of all, it evolves into Sattvic nature, Mahat or the Buddhi. Then it evolves into the Ahankara. Ahankara divides into three, Sattva, Rajo, Tamo. Sattva and Rajo develops the Manas. Therefore, mind is always chanchala when it goes to the Indriya, outward. When it goes to the inward, it becomes stable. Therefore, Sattva and Rajo. Sattva is always stable, Rajo is always moving, and Tamo is always inertia, it is Jada. So, once it is called Mano, then Indriya, then it comes to the Jnanendriya and Karmendriya. So, then another one, Rajo and Tamo guna, Tanmatra, Pancha Tanmatra, then Pancha Mahabhuta. This is the evolution. Therefore, very nature is we are the animal. Animal means we have born and all these things evolved. We want to go to the higher states. Therefore, mention about different types of animal we have passed through, bird, insects, and now the animals, and now we are human beings. We evolved ourselves. During the last several thousand years, man has been evolved. Even the theory of evolution also support our concept mentioned in our ancient yogic literature. So, what is the evolution? Once you evolve, we go to the higher states of consciousness. Therefore, what is that nature? I am the Purusha, I am the Chaitanya. For that, I have to do various practices. Therefore, Patanjali explained about the Ashtanga Yoga. Ashtanga Yoga, that is 8 angas, Yama, Niyama, Asana, Pranayama, Pratyahara, Dharana, Dhyana, Samadhi. 8 kinds of yoga he proposed. Therefore, it is that one we have to perform. Next, the third one, the third category is Tantric Yoga, where you use the energy. So, the whole universal energy, once it passes through and it enters into the channels carrying the energy. Therefore, there are the 2 nadis, Ida and Pingala. Then there are 2 nadis, Ida and Pingala. Then ultimately, it leads to the different types of nadis. So, therefore, in Kundalini Yoga, we have developed the Shat Chakra or Sapta Chakra, Mooladhara, Swadhisthana, Manipura, Anahata, Vishuddha, Ajna and Sahasrara Chakra. So, therefore, in the Kundalini Yoga, how to bring the synergy between the chakras. Therefore, different yogic practices, mudras, pranayamas has been envisaged in the Kundalini Yoga practice. Then comes the Hatha, the balancing between the moon and the sun, positive and the negative, and left nostril and the right nostril. Hatha, the synergy between the energies and centering it, and you have to evolve yourself to do the Raja Yoga, what is mentioned by the Satma Ramaswari. Then there are several other schools like Jaina Yoga, Saptanga Yoga of Jaina, Bodha Yoga, Arya Astangika Marga. Therefore, from the ancient time, Jaina Yoga as old as our Upanishads and Vedas. Therefore, from the ancient time, what are the traditions? So, there are Vedanta tradition, where we get Jnana, Bhakti, Karma, Dhyana. Sankhya Yoga tradition, we get Ashtanga Yoga or Patanjali Yoga. In Tantric tradition, we have Kundalini Yoga, Mantra Yoga, Laya Yoga, Hatha Yoga. Then in the non-Vedic tradition, Jaina Yoga and Bodha Yoga. Kindly see the different traditions and different schools of yoga. So, that will bring unto. So, let us understand one more important concept envisaged in our Upanishads, especially Taittiriya Upanishad, Panchakosha Viveka. What I am the body of 3 bodies basically. One is Stula Sharira, Annamaya Kosha. Second one is Sukshma. It is there, but we cannot see, we cannot touch with our senses. So, another one is the Karana Sharira, the causal body. So, therefore, we have to see then the Stula, the gross, then Sukshma, subtle, and Karana Sharira. That is mentioned in the Panchakosha Viveka, where it is the first one is body, made up of Pancha Mahabhuta. Then it is evolved and it become lighter than the pranic body, Pranamaya Kosha. Then it is subtle, it goes to the emotions and thoughts, Manomaya Kosha. Then it is discrimination, Vijnanamaya Kosha. Then Anandamaya Kosha, the Karana Sharira, causal seed, the cause of my birth. And ultimately, once you burn all the seeds of our karma, I experience the bliss or ananda. That is the very purpose of life. Then different practices has been recommended or mentioned in our ancient yoga text to evolve from the animal nature, the physical body, to the Anandamaya Kosha. That is the one thing. So, for this I can go to the earlier I mentioned about the Prana Ashtanga Yoga of Patanjali. Ashtanga Yoga of Patanjali. Yama means restraints. Niyama are observances. Asana are the postures. Pranayama are the breathe regulations, regulated, controlled, deep inhalation and exhalation. It is a process, but at the same time I am understanding a subtle aspects of our prana. Prana is not only the breathe. Next, withdrawing our senses, then concentrating our mind, then ultimately stabilize our mind and a concentrated object or a subject, then that leads to the transcendental state or the consciousness or the self realization in the samadhi state. So, Ashtanga, these are the second. One is the Panchakosha Viveka, second one is Yoga of Patanjali, and then it is in Sakya it is mentioned, different parts of already I mentioned to you. Next comes to the chakra. The whole body is a Shat Chakra, I have already mentioned, Mooladhara Chakra, Swadhisthana Chakra, Manipura Chakra, they are of the animal nature. So, Mooladhara is about Bhaya. I have 4 instincts, Ahara, Nidra, Bhaya, Maithuna. So, every animal has, but the human being has the consciousness, but animals have the lower consciousness, human has the higher consciousness. Therefore, I have to evolve myself. Therefore, the Mooladhara so links with our the Bhaya or the fear factor, Swadhisthana reproduction, Manipura our gastric fire, the Annamaya, then it goes to the Anahata, the emotions, Vishuddha, that is the removing the toxins, blocking the toxins, so that I can concentrate with Ajna, then ultimately realize the subtle powers, Sahasrara, the 1000 petals, I can visualize, that is called the Brahma Jnana, Sat Chakra it goes to. How you can practice? Simple way of doing, channelizing your energies in the body. Ida and Pingala. Ida is the left nostril, Pingala is the right nostril. Go on doing it left and right, massaging type, deep, slow, continuous inhalation and exhalation alternatively for a prolonged time. Then ultimately the prana start flowing in the central nadis, which is called Sushumna. Once the prana enter into the Sushumna, then there is a synergy in the chakras, Mooladhara, etc. Therefore, the body becomes very, very calm and quiet. The activities of the, because there is a balance of energy, the activities of body becomes minimized. Then mind orients. Heart needs very, very small pumping. Brains are rested. Then I can orient my entire energy to the higher aspects of yoga. This is where I am channelizing the vital energy from the gastric energy, the sexual energy, all these things, and converting into the spiritual energy, where nadis are the means to carry this to the higher aspect. Then ultimately comes to the what that fundamentals. So, I have to emphasize on 4 yoga. First of all, it comes to the Kriya Yoga, where we utilize the energy. Then what is the energy? It enters to the body, that karma, different types of karma. I do activities, asanas, etc. I eat, I walk, I sleep. All these I do action, utilization of the body, using that body, Karma Yoga. Bhakti Yoga, where one utilizes the emotions, thoughts and emotions. Then ultimately in Jnana, where one develops the discrimination power, Nitya Anitya Vastu Viveka. That means, so I am evolving my body, making it very stable. Then ultimately in the Kriya Yoga, I am utilizing the vital energies. Then in Bhakti, I am culturing my thoughts and emotions. Then Dhyana, I discriminate and realize what is truth and these things. Therefore, body, energy, mind and intelligence are the 4 important petals of yoga sadhana. So, with these petals, what we need in regular yoga practice? The first is very small component of asana. So, in our common yoga protocol, we developed some asanas. So, in the beginning asanas are in more number. Then slowly the duration and the number of asanas have been reduced. What will increase? As long as we increase the quality and timings of the pranayama. Then ultimately, once we reach that, so then I can do the dhyana. Dhyana happens. Therefore, prolonged continuous detoxification and the body dhradata, sthairya, dhairya, we give it, then pranayama, the lagutva we get it, dhyana, that is ultimately I merge with myself. Therefore, that leads to the settle. Therefore, asana, pranayama and dhyana are the integral part of our common yoga protocol, which has to be practiced very well every day. Therefore, today the silent features of yoga, various traditions of yoga, then we come to the various principles and concepts of yoga, ultimately 4 fundamentals of yoga, jnana, bhakti, karma and kriya yoga. So, then ultimately in our daily practice we use asana, pranayama and dhyana, so that that helps to create a wellness feeling, well-being feeling, which leads to health and well-being. These are the fundamentals which has to be followed while practicing yoga. With these few introductory remarks, let us conclude with a small chanting. Close your eyes. Om Shanti Shanti Shanti.